Oh man, my socks is not the nicest one for the podcasting. When it goes there, so, oh man, I need to keep it like this. Keep it like this. Yeah. Funny, the other day, someone, because of the picture, someone showed the genders, and this, it was making fun of the genders because I had the gender.
Oh.
But this is the environment. It's a gym environment.
Totally.
What are you gonna wear? I'm gonna wear a suit here. It doesn't make a
hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anna, you didn't got Alex Suname, no? After the it's
still
Alex.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah. So just kept my one.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What's your degree? You had a degree in?
Yeah. So it's a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies and Development Studies.
Did you ever work with that or had the?
No, I pretty much finished, and then I kind of thought about how I wanted to, what my interest was within that area, and I did a couple of super interesting papers in my last year, and one was medical anthropology, and another one was the inequalities, like health inequalities in New Zealand, and so that kind of and I was about maybe 2 years and one year into training at about that time as well. So I definitely had a peaked interest, and that's like 1 year into jiu-jitsu. I'd been kind of pretty sporty and active all my life, so I had a pretty solid interest in health. But my interest in health was kind of from a community health perspective of how, what is it that makes a community healthy? And that's actually when we started Re-Evolve, way back before we moved to Australia. Alex and we started a little kind of a business called Re-Evolve, which was basically personal training. But I actually just found some documents that I made. So I was 20 and I made these documents, and it's so interesting because I'm coming back to them as a philosophy, 10, 11 years down the track, but with so much more experience.
That's awesome.
So I kind of was interested in health, and I got invited back to do honours, but really the pathways for me were kind of within within government, and I wasn't sure I wanted to be like kind of stifled by the bureaucracy, and I just felt like I needed some life experience really. So I looked to see how I could engage with people and start to understand the different barriers that people are experiencing in regards to feeling healthy and well. So that's how I got into personal training. So, straight out of uni, opened a business. That was like, of course, I'm 20, I can do anything. And kind of really cemented some ideas, which, I'm coming back to a whole decade later.
So you went to uni here in Wellington, and after you went to overseas as well, for a period of time, no?
Yeah, so I left school early and went to uni in my, what was my 7th form year. So I left school early, and then I was 18, and I just really needed some time away to work out. I mean, I'd been looking forward to going overseas. I was like 18 and I'm gone, from, 13 or 14.
By yourself? Huh?
Yeah. So I started, I got a job when I was 14, started saving up money, and as soon as I hit 18, I was overseas.
Where did you go?
Egypt. Yeah.
Wow.
My sister was traveling as well, and she's quite a bit older than me, so she was far more worldly at the time. I went and visited my brother in Melbourne and worked a couple of terrible jobs and realised, I was like, oh God, this is working. I don't like this. And so I had a couple of months in Melbourne, and then went to Egypt and Jordan, Israel and Palestine, and then went to Italy for a few months, and kind of through France and through some of Europe, and then came back and got back into uni.
So after that, so you started jiu-jitsu after you finish uni, right?
Yeah, after I came back from overseas. So I think because my brother Matt was training with you
By
as
the
well.
way, Matt. Okay, so Matt is your brother who was training jiu-jitsu. By the way, one of my masterpiece of nicknames.
Oh yeah,
it's Big Jesus, right? That I'm super proud of.
Yeah, that one and Blue Lagoon and Goku, I just think are your top three nicknames ever. Yeah.
The thing with nicknames, it's like I said, my difficulty to say some people's full name, so I need to find a way. So always come from a good place, please. Always come from a good place.
I feel like you captured Matthew's personality beautifully in that nickname as well anyway. So.
Because, it's so funny. When I look to him and say, man, you're the biggest Jesus ever. He's so strong with that long hair, the beard. But, what I'm going to say, such a sweet guy, such a good heart.
Yeah.
He's strong as well.
Strong.
Holy crap. I remember going to when the powerhouse is open here, just close by, and chains, tires.
My favorite gym for sure.
Yeah. And the owner, what's his name?
Warren.
Yeah, such a character as well.
Did all the welding and stuff. Like, pretty much made the gym. Yeah, it was unbreakable. Yeah,
super cool. So Matt, Big Jesus already was training with us, and you came at 20 years old.
I think I was 20. So fresh from overseas. I was just looking for an activity to get back into. As I said, I'd kind of always done sports, but I was just looking for something kind of new. We always used to play fight with Matt. Yeah. He was always nice. I was always a bit meaner. And he was like, just come along and check it out. And my first class was a lunchtime class with Lindolfo and Brian.
With Lindolfo.
So that was my first class. I was just like, what is this? I'd never done martial arts as a teenager. But haven't looked back.
And how was that? Because, that's one of the main things as well. Being a female in a sport, if it's the majority. Well, first, jiu-jitsu is a very young sport. We start from that, super young.
Yeah, especially 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
11 years, yeah, I know. Whew.
So, super young sport. Not many people practicing and not many women practicing jiu-jitsu. The majority are men. And also, on the top of all of that, the closeness, right? The personal space disappears.
Yeah.
So how was your first experience? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's not super clear, but definitely, I can talk to my first, few months, kind of first few months. I think I was super lucky in finding Combat Room. And also starting with my brother. I think having someone that you walk into the gym already knowing is a huge part of making it feel more comfortable right away. Having a sports background in general, I think really helped as well. Some of that physicality, even though, it was mostly like netball or basketball and those kind of sports, which is obviously super different. Even just having a physical background, I think, helps. But, man, I walked into a gym that was so welcoming, so friendly. It had parameters in place and, a culture in place that came down from you guys and from Brian. So it came right down from the top to make the space welcoming to everyone. So for me, it wasn't too scary. It wasn't, I got smashed, but in a good way. In a good way. Like I remember feeling like how muscly and pointy Glenn Small. Like I totally remember just going like, oh, this is so incredibly uncomfortable, but never feeling unsafe. Always feeling welcome on the mats, and. The only person who ever made me feel like there wasn't a space on the mats was myself, and that was just a confidence thing that took quite a few years,
Yeah.
you know, to get over.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, so I mean, the first few months, it was like stepping into a different world of movement. And that is something quite hard, I imagine, to for people who have no movement base or no sport base to kind of get around. But I definitely became, you know, with the gym being so welcoming, starting with an older brother, I just really felt like I got 20 extra brothers that I got to play fight with, you know. They had a few more moves than me, which really is annoying. But yeah, I just found like the more I threw myself into it, the more I got out of it. And the community was such a epic thing to get when I didn't really have, you know, even though I grew up in Wellington, I didn't really enjoy high school. High school was pretty hard. I left high school early. Then
What's that, Anna?
Bullying, yeah. I mean, I think teenage years are always hard. For me, just like a bad experience at school with, not bad. I mean, I don't even look back and think, oh, that was a bad time. It was just a hard time, and it was a hard time for me. But I learned so much from it about myself, and yeah, definitely bullying was the kind of general issue. And again, though, I came to the same conclusion after a few years. I was like, oh, I made that really hard on myself. You know, there was an instigator or like an external thing that was the instigator, but then it was my internal world that I needed to learn to manage. And now I'm so lucky I got that lesson at an early age. You know, going through, I had quite bad anorexia from the age of about 15 till about 18, I guess. But that as something to overcome at an early age is something that you take with you, you know, the kind of the deep feelings that are associated with that, and then learning how to manage them and move through them, and to come out the other side in a place of love and happiness and gratitude. Man, awesome.
What was triggering that when you look back and now when you was 15?
Yeah.
Do you have a, you know, you got a conclusion for that? What was triggering?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of external situation was, with like an issue within a friends group. So, as always with girls, it was over a guy. And it's so funny because I remember the moment I realized the issue was so silly. And I was having basically I just finally told mum and dad what was going on, and I told them the story, and I laughed because the story was so ridiculous. And all this trouble had come up over something so silly, and it was literally just I stayed friends with a boy after my friend broke up with him. And then this cascade of events in which my entire friend group kind of turned away from me. But they didn't, you know, I had all of these other friends, but I just remember the feeling, you know. But really what it was a feeling of not being in control, and then a sense of wanting to come back to control, but not knowing how to do that within myself. So I looked to find where I could control, and what I could control was what I ate and how much I exercised. So that was really kind of my way of coping with the world, and with how I was feeling, was just to exercise incessantly. So, you know, getting changed, dancing to music, meant to be busing to school, but instead I'm walking 5 kilometres, going to the gym every day, doing cross country at lunchtimes, finding like all the sports that I can possibly do. And I mean, you kind of see that as with adults being so busy, they don't actually have any time to realise how they're feeling. So that was a really powerful thing to realize at an early age, was how much we look outside of ourselves to sort out an internal feeling. But actually, man, we just need to sit with ourselves and work it out.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, the reason that beautiful what you said there. The reason I'm asking, just so someone who is going through something like that, to have this, to have this insight.
Yeah.
So after that, the exercise helped you to get back on the track.
Yeah. So actually, jiu-jitsu's been because obviously I started jiu-jitsu quite soon after that. For me, traveling was really healing. It was this wonderful time in which I could wake up every day and decide who I was on that day. The freedom. Yeah, I was completely on my own for the first time. How that day happened was completely my own choice. When I had an interaction with someone, who and how I was without any history, So traveling was this real process of finding myself by kind of creatively exploring who that was. And so when I came back from overseas and got into jiu-jitsu, it really just kind of helped to continue to cement that process. I think again, my journey with jiu-jitsu now having been kind of about 11 years, man, through that time I've continuously changed and grown as well. I think your 20s to your 30s is also quite, not a volatile time, but you're coming into yourself even more, So it's been awesome to have jiu-jitsu as part of that journey and process. I think it's so grounding. It's something that you can turn up to just every single day, and everything else disappears. Every other label that you wear, every other uniform that you wear, every other thing that's going on in life, you step on the mats and you're back at this kind of base, just base, nothing, no other part of life has to come into that moment. And I think that's such a privilege of jiu-jitsu, Yeah.
So true, because we know that so well now by the practice, huh? So that was the main thing who helped you to stay on the journey and keep progressing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, there's a number of things that have helped me. One, it's just so bloody fun, it's just so fun. And you never learn it. You learn a little bit, and then 5 years later, you're doing scissor sweep and you learn a new thing about the scissor sweep. And you're like, I thought I knew everything there was to know about that. But
now you're a black belt. You know everything now.
Oh, I know everything. It's true. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, man. It just feels like I know it's super cliche, but it does feel like I'm starting again.
No, so cool. We're so happy to see, super proud as well to see the progression. But that's the dangers of those places as well. Sometimes when we start as a white belt, we see the black belt, on this something so far away, and when we achieve that, I say, okay, now what's next,
Yeah, you just turn up again.
So how's that feeling?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I realized I'd never thought about getting the black belt, and it's something you'd think about. But it was not something I ever thought about a black belt and then put myself in the same picture,
But why is that?
I honestly think I was just kind of just in where I was, I just kept turning up. I didn't really worry about what it would be like in 5 years,
Such a good mindset.
Yeah. I think I just kind of trusted that it would think, if you keep turning up, you're just going to change belt eventually. Or you won't, but that's cool. But yeah, it was funny because I saw a photo and Alex was tying, and I was like, oh my God, I have a black belt. That's super weird. But it feels really good. It's amazing. Yeah, just to get recognition from people that I really value and respect in my life, who have been such a massive part of my life. That it's been a long journey. I've obviously committed myself quite intensely to jiu-jitsu, and not really from a competitive sense, because I've only competed a handful of times, but more from the teaching side and kind of fostering a community in Sydney. That's been more my focus. So it's really, really nice to receive that recognition, from people that I really, really respect, and as people, let alone on the mats in jiu-jitsu. So thank you.
Yeah, it was super, super, super cool. And I think to see the progression as well. No, because from my side as well, kind of seeing someone, coming to as a white belt, struggling with doing basic hip escape, like all of us, we all do that. But after, learn a few things, start showing up, start getting better, change, the energy change, the bodies change,
totally.
Become stronger.
Yeah.
But after, it has this beautiful phase as well. In the case of, it's just a few who's gonna have this experience, but you had that is the teaching to passing on. And I think on Saturday, when you gave the seminar for your grading, it was such a cool thing to see, the amount of effort you put on that as well, the amount of details, the explanation, at the same time in a really relaxed way, so kind of, showing, even, for example, see your mom here, who was, I think for the first time, she was able to see that in 11 years.
Totally.
And she was super impressed. Wow, it's way more technical than I was expecting. So I think that's the shock people normally have with jiu-jitsu. Wow, is that technical?
Yeah.
And to see you going through all the things, and after I was just, making mental notes and pointed out, the details, what I found really interesting. And you nailed super, super, super well. So yes, awesome. It was awesome to see that.
Thank you.
And also in Sydney, you guys had the community there, and you had this massive experience of teaching the kids.
Yeah. Sydney was maybe 10 years. 10 years. And went from sharing a space and kind of, really, it was the kids and the desire to see the kids in a really kind of healthy and nice and, a space that we could control the culture of, that made us kind of go out on our own. And then, we had, our own premise. So that was about 4 or 5 years, and then we had our own premise for about another 4 years as well. And teaching kids was not something I ever saw myself doing. And has also been the greatest gift, I think I literally complained almost until the end about how difficult teaching kids was. And then as soon as we closed, I was like, oh, I really miss them.
Yes.
And, in huge part, that was because they made me live with more integrity. There came a point, and maybe a year into teaching kids, so I had my blue belt, and I never really even thought of myself as a coach. I was just like, Alex is the coach. I'm just kind of helping him out, organizing. It was part of what I did, but it wasn't everything that I was doing. But then we had these 2 little awesome sisters, Ruby and Isla, who were like total killers on the mat. But silent assassins, Barely cracked a smile. They were just like, we're here to do business. And we used to run in-house competitions. So, we'd get 40 or 50 of the kids together, put them into little groups, similar size, age, experience, and then give them kind of like a competition experience, prizes, etc. and both sisters won their divisions. And their dad said to me just at the end of the day, it was a couple of weeks later, and he was like, they haven't taken their hoodies off. You know, they've worn them every single day.
Who is that?
They just want to be like you when they grow up.
Oh, wow.
And I was like me? Oh, like they need different mentors, you know, like they need to aim higher. But it was that moment that it really hit me what I was actually participating in, and what a positive impact I could have on on these kids. And it was that I was like, I need to step up in terms of how I'm viewing this for myself, but also for them, you know, like for these kids, what do I want to provide, what kind of experience, what teachings, and that made like me understand what my values were, what I got from jiu-jitsu, and how I, you know, wanted to share jiu-jitsu with them. And that really was what prompted kind of the moving into our own space, and from there growing the adults team, growing the women's team, kids team, and then the continual lessons that they offered was fantastic. We had a really, really awesome set of kids like come through. You know, obviously, just like adults, some stick with it for longer. You kind of get your core group that rain, hail, shine. No matter what's going on, they're there.
Yes.
And then the others who kind of come and go a little bit more. There was a handful of kids that we got to see grow up from the age of 6 or 7 to 13, 14, which I can liken to the experience of you watching your students, go like how their confidence changes. So being a part of a kid's growing up is a pretty special thing, you know. I definitely I think I took it for granted for too long, and then it was only really in the last kind of few years of having our own space that I was like, man, this is actually really special. This is really cool. So because
you start to I love what you said, because that's so true. You know, as you become a coach, and this mission of serving people with your time, with the knowledge, and trying to you stop doing jiu-jitsu for yourself, and you start, it's because of other people as well, because we need the responsibility we have of the community.
Yeah, hugely. So and that was something quite interesting to learn quite early on in a jiu-jitsu journey, kind of learning that from the stage of being a blue belt, and wanting to, even though my learning was yet to continue to evolve so hugely as it still is, passing on at least what I could to the kids initially, and then to the kind of adults team, to the women's team. It makes you having that. I think there's real strengths in having a jiu-jitsu journey that's not focused on you. There were times, and it's really in this last year that because I haven't had a gym to run, where I've been able to focus on my own training, and I was like, this is what it's like not having like 200 kids and adults that I love and worry about. It's like I just turn up for myself. It's like, oh, good. Do I want to turn up? Oh, no, I do want to turn up. Okay, cool. Yeah, I do. Actually, I do love jiu-jitsu for me as still, I don't just love jiu-jitsu for the other people. So it's nice having that remembrance as well. I think when you're running a school, it's pretty easy to kind of get swept up in the momentum of the space itself. And it's easy to lose your own practice and your own kind of your own energy and purpose within it, because your energy and purpose is going into others. So that's something that I've come back to, which has been really special.
Yeah, that's so important what you said, because I always make sure as well I have the nights when, guys, I'm just here, I just want to roll and train, it's to keep my passion alive, because otherwise, that's, becomes a job, of course, but to keep the passion for the sport for so long, for all those years. Yeah, we need to have those moments when I said, guys, I'm here, I just want to roll, let's just roll, shake the hand. Don't ask me any question. I'm not about, I do that time to time, and I said, no, don't ask anything. I just want to roll. Let's roll. Pretend I'm not the coach. Because otherwise, it's the risk we have to lose the passion.
Oh, absolutely. And I did. I really did. I not recently, but definitely kind of a year into being in Australia, man, I did not enjoy jiu-jitsu anymore,
Why is that, Anna?
Well, I had a couple of pretty good injuries, and they weren't so much, something's happened on the mats. They were more kind of like chronic injuries over time. So physically, I wasn't in a great space, my both of my knees were so sore. I could, barely walk up and down the stairs to the apartment without kind of getting Alex to half carry me. And then I also had a lower back kind of issue, which was super painful. So physically, there were just my body it wasn't meeting the demands of jiu-jitsu. But it also meant that I didn't get to participate fully. I'm kind of an all-in person, so I didn't, I wanted to be able to roll and do everything, and I hate it when my body had the limitation. So I think as well, I was probably working 14 or 15 hour days at that time. Moving to a new place, trying to set up, I was again setting up a personal training business from scratch, not knowing one person in Sydney, then working 2 or 3 other part-time jobs to kind of make ends meet. So it was pretty full-on time. And then I'd left my awesome family, Combat Room family. I was like, the gym is so cool. Now I just got a bunch of mongrel white belts to train with. So, I think there's probably just a medley of things. And blue belt blues are a real thing. You don't magically get better from one belt to another. It's still time. So, fortunately, Alex kind of managed to, his jiu-jitsu flame is as large as ever. It's never diminished. So he really held that for both of us over that time. And, I don't think I really ever stopped, but I probably went from training 5 days to 2 days kind of thing, as my body would allow. That's what I got into yoga a lot more, which... was awesome. I've come back into yoga recently, and with time and experience, I can look back and see how maybe physically that the kind of hot yoga variation that I was doing actually was causing more harm to my knees and back than good. But again, that's just learning the body and learning and understanding and finding a teacher that is also going to work with you.
Because you end up doing the course of become a yoga teacher as well.
Yeah, I did an awesome yoga teacher training with an American lady called Annie Carpenter, Smart Flow Yoga, I think. And she came over and I did an intensive month. And that was, that again, it threw me into a whole new world that I was definitely not ready for.
What's that, Anna?
It's that thing of, I actually just didn't have that much yoga experience. but it was still really valuable for my own personal practice and for kind of jumping into yoga in a deeper sense and having a practice. You know, again, I was still trying to work multiple jobs and attend this course that was 9 till 4 every day. So it was definitely helping me to reach new limits of what I thought was possible. And the knowledge and information that I took away from it and the experiences I had there have helped me and kind of exposed me to more practices that I'm more ready to take on now within kind of yoga and meditation. So yeah, super valuable, but I was definitely a very junior. I'm still a very junior yoga practitioner. But hey, everything comes at the right time, you know. That was what came at the right time. I had a beautiful friend, Petra, that I was working with who encouraged me to go along with her. And I'll, always be super grateful for that intense month. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So Anna, another interesting thing.
Yeah.
So you end up find the love of your life at Jiu-Jitsu as well. Okay, so how was that and how it's the experience of living with another black belt and someone who is super, you know, I don't even the word passion.
Yeah,
you know,
don't even know if that's enough. Oh, you know, it's something that we've navigated really well, I think, together. Obviously, it's a little bit kind of risky to find your partner at jiu-jitsu. And it was definitely you know, it's jiu-jitsu is like a sacred ground, you know. You don't want it to, you want it to be sacred ground, not hunting ground, you know. So but it was interesting. Again, I was 20, you know. Fortunately, Alex brought some maturity to the relationship at an early age. And I honestly just found him really attractive at the start. And that was pretty much my focus. And then I got to know him as well. And I was like, oh, actually, you're awesome. So, I mean,
he was hiding that from me for a long time. I knew something was going on, but I wasn't sure.
So that was our approach, was like, have jiu-jitsu as jiu-jitsu and get to know each other outside of jiu-jitsu and just allow that to take the time, you know, because as soon as we realized there was any interest, we just had the kind of conversation of like, well, you know, if this doesn't work out, we need to understand that Combat Room is like neutral. You know, it's a really important space for both of us. And so whatever happens, we want that to continue to be
that's super cool.
And that's definitely something I look back at. I'm like, oh, I'm really glad that
went well.
Really glad it went well, totally. But we were able to have those conversations that weren't necessarily easy right from the start. Man, it's, you know, when you just meet someone and it's just easy, you know. We never get sick of each other, you know. Obviously, I think it's challenging working together, training together, living together. It's a pretty like intense kind of thing, but it works, you know. And I think we balance each other out quite well. You know, the things that we bring to the relationship are different. So the things that we could bring into the gym are different as well. And kind of where I have maybe flaws or things that I overlook, Alex has like really positive traits in those areas. So yeah, we're quite a good team in that way.
And you guys are so lucky as well to be able to run, you know, the gym, you know, between you two. Yeah, that's a blessing. Huh?
I honestly have no idea how anyone does it alone. So yeah, big ups to you for doing that, because it's really hard to be everything.
Yeah, it's
you
hard.
know. Fortunately, I kind of had some like business administration background, kind of through the family business experience, and which Alex didn't really bring. Obviously, very good at jiu-jitsu, the other essential part of running a jiu-jitsu gym. So we kind of, we managed to have, the skills combined to run a space, but you aren't always at 100%. There are times where you're, injured or sick are the obvious ones, but sometimes you're just not at your full capacity.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, we were so lucky to be able to bounce off the other person. So when someone needed to be strong, there was always someone who was able to be strong. When someone just needed a day to kind of collect themselves and bring themselves back, they were able to be given, we're able to give that other person space or a kick up the ass, whatever was needed. Yeah. But we're super lucky to have shared that. And I think really that journey in Sydney leading to us running the space together has provided us, for something that we did so intimately and closely together, it provided us both space individually to get a lot from it and to learn a lot from it. Yeah,
that's
very
so
grateful.
Awesome. Yeah, you're so right as well. For example, here, I took me a while as well to understand the influence, the coach can have. So, for example, if I'm, if I come in, something happens and I'm not in a good mood, how much does influence everybody?
Yeah.
So I kind of learned this. Sometimes if you're not feeling well, just stay home. Let the things take care of itself. For a couple of days. And chill, because otherwise, the person just get it personally, and it's nothing to do with anybody. But sometimes the lack of energy, or we are not fully in control of the emotions on that day. Meditate a little bit, stay in silence. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that's the other thing that we've kind of come to together, is that meditation journey. So we had a really good friend, someone Alex has known since he was a baby, called Jake.
Jake?
Jake.
Met Jake. Awesome guy. Yeah,
awesome
love Jake.
Guy. Over in Sydney, and he really helped to kind of get us started with meditation. And that's been, just like jiu-jitsu's been the closest friend and guide, so is meditation,
Well, I kick up the first kick with Alex.
Oh yeah, actually, totally.
That was his first experience.
I think he took away from that a great deal of suffering. He was like, oh wow, this is so hard. So you definitely exposed Alex to that. Really,
force him to we're gonna meditate.
Oh man. And it is like, I really fought tooth and nail against it while also making myself do it. It's this weird thing of, I really was just so skeptical, I was so skeptical, and kind of not really willing to trust the process. And I guess that, having both meditation and jiu-jitsu almost teaching me the same lessons but through different avenues, so it was nice to kind of get that double feedback all the time, and it's been in the space that closing the gym has given us, moving meditation into that space has been just so important. It really helped us get through a really hard time that was quite rocky and changeable, and to make a decision and take action. And I can't really speak enough of how integral meditation has been to my continuing mental health and physical health and spiritual health. And
That's awesome. That's really cool. So, Anna, let's get into some technical aspects of it. So, a very important question. I think that's a really good lesson to all of us. How to roll with a girl.
Ooh.
Please open your heart from the good and
for
from the bad
sure.
experience as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have any bad experience?
Oh, I mean, none so bad that there's any one specific role that I'm like, that was the worst role of my life, you know? Yeah. Again, I've been, I think, like genuinely super lucky in my training environments that I've always felt, safe within my community. It doesn't mean that it didn't mean that there were easy roles, but I knew that there was respect and that there was if I ever said stop or it would be taken just like that,
Yeah.
But there's definitely a spectrum that I've experienced. And honestly, I think there's a couple of key factors. One is like personal body awareness. So, and this goes for a guy rolling with a woman, a guy rolling with another guy, me rolling with a new student, me rolling with a woman who's smaller than me. Having awareness of my own body and having awareness of their body, and that sounds so simple, but what I really mean by that is seeing beyond the outcome that you want to the moment that's actually happening. So, seeing beyond the like, I want to get the position, or I want to make sure I get a submission, to like, okay, this is the person that I'm rolling with at this moment. How can I like make sure that it's the best experience for them and the best experience for me? And really like a matching of strength, so I now can have a role with a white belt male who's 90 kilos, and it's still really challenging and unpleasant if they're just trying to like use their strength and not really have a technical role. I have more ability to stay safe, put myself in better positions, move around the strength and intensity, but it doesn't mean it's a pleasant role. But not every role needs to be pleasant either. I think that's something that we need to remember, is that we are actually doing a full contact martial art. And sometimes all you can take away from a role is that you survived it. And that can be someone exactly the same size as you, but they just smoked you. They just smoked you. So yeah, I think just having constant awareness that's greater than yourself and greater than what you want to get out of it. You always need to have constant awareness of who you're training with. And then a few practical things of, maybe start on the bottom. Just pull guard. I had an awesome role with the Palmy dudes who were here for my grading, and they're all massive. But they were super technical. They had a really good ability to match the strength that I was giving them, and they chose to sit to guard rather than start on top. Even just that, sitting to guard, because what that is like, okay, well, now I get to play on top, put my weight through you first, feel what your response is going to be. I mean, I pretty much know from the first grip how safe I need to play my jiu-jitsu. Sorry. Back to the microphone. So and that is the other side of it, is knowing myself and my boundaries and my parameters, and what I also, knowing that this is just one role out of the many, many, many roles I'm going to continue to have, you know. So if I don't feel safe with this person, I actually don't need to win it. I just need to get through to the end of it, you know. And that, again, it can be a female that I'm rolling with, it can be a male that I'm rolling with. But obviously there is a greater capacity to meet the strength with another female. So I really do just think like bringing a technical intention and focus to rolling helps you to roll better with everyone, and matching the strength of the person that you're rolling with. And then having phases, you know, like having, you know, especially as a teacher, and as you said, it's like you need to have sessions that are just for you. So, and that was something that I noticed, was that I didn't have many sessions that were just for me. And so my rolling kind of took the impact of that, in terms of I would meet I would try and give the person what they needed rather than what I kind of was like needed from that day. That was some really useful advice I got from, I think it was Jess Fraser at one of the events or camps, and someone asked her, how do you know, given that you're always, you know, giving so much to other people, how do you manage your own training? And she said, let's say I'm training 5 days a week. I know that 2 days a week I'm focusing on others, and then 3 days a week I'm having the roles that I want to have. So I'll just say no to someone, you know. I'm going to make sure that I get the training that I need on the days that I've chosen for me, you know. So I think super important. Yeah, super important. And so I think taking a longer term view of your training definitely helps you to like have better training overall with everyone. Yeah.
So, and what do you? So, for example, here I was encouraging everybody, but especially the females. You know, if someone, because as you said, the body awareness. You know, when we started, well, we lack that quite a lot, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, you know, especially so. For example, someone a white belt's gonna roll with you now. They very quickly they're gonna forget everything, just gonna look at your belt, black belt, you know. And that creates that the person just forgets, and sometimes goes a little bit hard, more than they should. So I always encourage people to give a feedback. Say they think it was a little bit too much, and can you dial down a little bit? Because sometimes we only need to say something like that. So for the woman, normally what I do, I know for most of them, you never had this problem, because you just become so part of the whole group. So I never had this necessity even to do something to say that with you, because and I always saw you so able to tell everyone off. And everyone was so scared of you. So, we never had this problem. But, sometimes I see other girls who doesn't have this, the same confidence and the same relationship as well with the others, so they kind of freeze a little bit. So sure. I come around and say, because, I'm paying attention. I said, hey, can you please give a feedback? Hey, can you ask her how was your intensity? And sometimes the guy, he just look, he freezes. Well, oh man, what have I done wrong?
Totally.
And when the female starts saying few things, the person, if they could open a hole on the mat, do you, is that something you have the necessity to do it?
Yeah, that's a.
Or you don't? How you?
No, for sure. I think opening a space for feedback within the training environments is really important. It's funny. First thing, I think starting with Matthew, who was massive. I do remember one role.
You're a special case. You have all those things.
It was that thing of anytime he saw someone roll with me that he thought was too hard, he would roll with them immediately afterwards. So the feedback for them was quite quick.
And you talk about the biggest Jesus ever. You talk about a guy almost 2 meters high, 100 something kg power lifter.
And very placid, except for when it came to his baby sister. But yeah, that was a side note. That feedback happened quite quickly for some people. But over the years, feeling comfortable on the mats to use your voice, because that's a different thing. We're training jiu-jitsu. There's techniques and there's this and there's that, but we're not actually training to use our voice to say how we feel. And there's an element of deal with it, but then there's also an element of, you deal with your bad attitude of how you are.
That's interesting.
How you think it's okay to interact with me. The best statement someone's ever said to me, and this has helped me to almost take. I'll give you what they said was, it's not personal, nothing that's like someone's saying to you or how they're interacting with you, it's not personal, and that goes both ways. If someone's just doing something on the mats, having a role that's way too intense for the person that they're, training with, man, it's not personal for you to tell them and just give them that feedback, because they're going to learn something from that, and they're going to learn that awareness. Man, if they can have that on the mats, they're going to be able to have it off the mats. So they're going to be way more aware of their interactions with people. And likewise, it's not personal how they're rolling with you. So if you can get through, obviously tell them if you don't feel safe, but if it's just a hard roll that you're on the other side of and you're like, woo-wee, all right, yeah, here we are, bottom side control again, 5 minutes. But the ability, it's not personal that they're putting that pressure on you, so that kind of works both ways. And that has been the greatest, that simple sentence has been the greatest piece of advice from a good friend Ryan over in Australia. But I think that answers that quite nicely. Like if you need to say something, say it, but know where it's coming from when you say it as well. Know that, if you're providing feedback, it's not because of an emotional reaction that you're having. You need to make sure that it's useful feedback. Like, hey, when you were on guard, when you were playing guard, you were awesome and you were active, and I was able to, go back and forth with you. But then when you were on top, you were like 150 kilos and I couldn't do anything. Maybe you could move a bit more, just like, as opposed to, you made me feel really bad because I couldn't get out. Like, that's not really useful feedback for people. But yeah, so that kind of, it's just not personal. Everyone here is learning. But I really like that idea of like creating an environment in which feedback is welcome, because man, we've lost that. We've lost the ability to take feedback from each other. I feel, I know that Alex talked about kind of coachability when he was on his podcast, and that idea of actually like listening and learning and not being coachable, and not just from your coach. You can't get everything just from your coach.
Yes.
Your training partners are the other people who turn up every single day, and they, 2 to 3 times a week for some people, once in a while for others. But but your training partners are the rest of the teaching team, and you can learn from all of them. And I think that helps you to have a much more enjoyable mindset when someone gives you feedback, because one, it's not personal. You know, they're not attacking you personally. They're just trying to tell you something that came up during the round. And secondly, all of a sudden, man, you can learn from 50 people rather than one. Like you with that mindset, you're just gonna excel so much more.
That's awesome, and I love that what you said. That's super, super cool. You know, do you have any female inspiration in jiu-jitsu? Who's your favorite?
Ooh.
Well, every time when people say, what's your favorite jiu-jitsu player? I said, my favorite jiu-jitsu player, it's myself.
Yeah.
You know, and should be yourself too. You know, so that's the first. But the
Okay,
second,
that's my answer. Yeah, it's myself. Yeah.
Of course, it has to be, right? Okay, the second most jiu-jitsu player for you.
Cool. Well, I mean, someone I really enjoy watching on like an international level is Mesa Bastos. I just like her, man, all of her game is just so epic and exciting to watch. So I really, get a lot from her. When I watched her and compete recently, I can't remember what event, and just watched her guard passing, it was just like, whoa. You know, it was
What's
just
her name again?
Oh, Mesa Bastos, Mayssa, Mesa Bastos.
I'm going to check it out. I'm not sure if I...
Yeah, she's awesome to watch. On a more, local scene, man, I've been so lucky to, train with a number of high-level women in Australia. I was lucky to have some in my team. So a lot of wars, but a lot of support of each other as well. Has actually come from Alex's sister Emma.
I knew this coming.
Yeah, she's such an undercover badass. As is, and actually from the same from the same kind of area in New Zealand, Taranaki. Good friend Rhonda as well. She's brown belt, and we've kind of trained a lot for the last 9 years in Australia together. So those two women have helped me a lot in terms of just being a strong unit together, and from there being able to welcome way more women into the team. I've had the blessing of training with Hope Douglas over in Australia as well, and Jess Fraser, and they both run Australian Girls in Gi and partake in the events. Jess, I haven't necessarily had heaps of, it's not like, she was at our gym, so I haven't had heaps of time training with her, but, every event that I've been to with her, so, had a couple of open mats and been to some camps. She gave me the opportunity to come to, a big camp that she held. We held one at Combat Room recently, just before we closed. It was a wrestling camp. And every time I would just get these golden nuggets from her in regards to something in my jiu-jitsu. And I wouldn't necessarily understand them perfectly at the time. And then, I'd think about it, and over the next 3 to 6 months it would come out, and I was like, oh, that's what she meant, So having, some good mentors and, epic teachers from that group as well. And, just also, especially with Hope and Jess, the kind of energy back into the community is really inspiring. What they've done for the female community of practitioners, and what they've kind of fought so hard to achieve is really inspiring. So
super cool. Super cool.
But man, for a sport that has had obviously a minority of females, I've been really blessed throughout the whole journey to always have at least one or two good training partners around, and so I've been really lucky in that journey for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool to have you guys here as well because Danny, every time Danny was coming, Danny, make sure you train your fan.
Yeah,
And
yep.
you know, Danny, go ask him, you know, always
Yeah.
you know to make this connection
For
because I
sure.
feel for her, she doesn't have as many women to train at the moment.
Yeah. And it really is, it's not like there's a room full of people. Let's say there's 20 people, 16 to 18 of them are going to be males, in jiu-jitsu, 2 to 4 women. It's not that you can't train with the 16 males, but it's like, if you're always training with the same 2 to 4 females, I mean, don't get me wrong, you love it, you're grateful for them, but that's going to always be your most competitive role. You're always going to be able to meet their strength, especially if you're similar, if you're going through the belts together. So just increasing that pool, it just means you increase the, all the different diversity of people's games. And I want that for women in jiu-jitsu to be able to kind of be getting all those different inputs from having so many more people on the training mats with them. We just need to be able to have more competitive roles with people of our size, strength, weight, because, man, I had great training partners who were the same weight as me as guys, but they were like cracking out 20 pull-ups and squatting ridiculous weights, and it's just a reality that they are stronger than me. It doesn't mean that we can't have awesome, great training rounds together, but it is just different. Women have different proportions, different that. So I always value having, like, walking into a gym and knowing that seeing that there's 2, 3, 4, however many, 5, 6. Hopefully 20 ladies on the mats, because it just means that just going to have really good training rounds. That's definitely been interesting, kind of traveling around the North Island a bit and getting a sense of a little bit of like where the community's at, and it seems like there's some really strong pockets of kind of women's participation in jiu-jitsu, and then other areas that could do with a bit of kind of elevation
to foster a little bit more.
But it's really cool to see. I only recently kind of found that there are more woman specific events and groups, so it seems like the community is really collaborative and enthusiastic, and there's heaps of energy in it. And it's growing, which is really nice to come back and see that. Man, just to like talk to a person on the street and they're like, "Oh yeah, jiu-jitsu, I know what that is." You're like, "You do?" Like, it's amazing to see the growth. I've experienced that. Where our gym was in Sydney. Within 5 kilometres, there was probably another 5 to 10 gyms. And you just think a decade ago, it wouldn't have been like that, I'm sure. So it's really cool to see that growth back here in New Zealand as well. So many more people of all walks of life participating, and hearing about there being school programs, and and kind of travelling around and how people are using jiu-jitsu to better themselves and like bring something really positive into their life. That's awesome. That's really cool. It's been like super exciting and heartwarming to see that.
Yeah, you guys have this awesome journey of going around so many different gyms, teaching, training. What a cool experience.
And hopefully more to come.
So Anna, what's your favorite technique and why?
Ooh, I think you could ask me and it would change every day. At the moment, I'm definitely enjoying more of like a top game. So man, definitely, like, yeah, playing more passing at the moment. But on the flip side of that, also been playing around with some like near side X stuff. So yeah, from a guard position, enjoying kind of playing around with the near side X, and yeah, using that to create an off balance. Did a bit of wrestling with awesome guy Pavel back in. Although if I'm thinking about Brian listening to this, I want to immediately retract my words. I mean, judo, koichiko, and I've definitely rediscovered the love of a good double leg takedown.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's the card. It has to be on the card.
It has to be on the cards, yeah. But yeah, I think at the moment I'm definitely enjoying kind of more playing with passing concepts from a broader sense, and looking to kind of create that exposure, to the pass from outside movement.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first submission?
It was a go-go plata. Unbelievably, it was a go-go.
I'm impressed. You had this answer right away.
It's because I just told someone. I was I was remembering back, and it took ages for me to score a submission. I think it was probably like a year or something.
Yeah, wow,
that's
normal,
and it was, no matter how many cross lapel chokes I tried or arm bars, it was probably cross lapel choke, arm bar, triangle. Never scored any of those, and then I think I just randomly saw someone like go for it when I was watching rolling, and then I just tried it. And I got it. Yeah, I remember.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
But definitely, tend to good Kimura or cross the power are my kind of like go-tos. Yeah, pass, kind of control, and then look for that kind of north-south Kimura position. It's kind of my bread and butter.
That's super cool. I love that.
But I don't think I've ever gotten a go-go plata since. It was like a one-time thing. My knees.
Oh, really? Was this that?
My knees are like, no, we don't do that.
Was the first and only go-go plata?
Only.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I remember it. Yeah.
Oh, really? So because of the position of the knee.
Yeah.
It's gonna always put some stress.
Yeah, always.
That's so interesting. So Anna, what's the next part of the journey now?
Yeah, so we actually head back to Aussie in 2 days. We're heading back up to the Northern Rivers area. And I mean, it's been coming back to home has been such an important part of, kind of feels like the both the closing and the beginning of a new cycle. It was really important to like come home and ground again in this space, in this land, in this community, and it's so nice to come home and feel like it's still home. The beautiful mixed blessing of that is that Australia also feels like home. So really the next part of the journey is working out how I can be in two places. I think we've probably got a little bit more travel in us, and it would definitely be cool to do some of that travel in Australia as well and connect in a wider sense with the community there. We were pretty focused, and when we were in Sydney, it was hard to kind of get too much time away and move around. So there's definitely some really cool communities and within Jiu-Jitsu and clubs we'd love to visit, and coaches and competitors we'd love to connect with. So when we go back, we're going to probably look to travel for a little bit in the van as well. And then
The free range BJJ.
the free range BJJ. Yeah.
I love that. That's such a cool name.
Thanks. Yeah. So head back there, but we want to come back to New Zealand in just like probably 2 or 3 months' time. We haven't been to the South Island at all this trip, so it'd be cool to head down to the South Island as well. It really just feels like there's some, really cool opportunities within Jiu-Jitsu in New Zealand, and ways that we feel we can really kind of contribute to the culture of Jiu-Jitsu in New Zealand.
Of course, yeah.
We're in a pretty unique position where, we've had good experiences in Australia, and obviously we trained here before as well, so kind of looking to create this trans-Tasman connection a little bit more. But so I think a bit more travel was on the cards. Eventually we'll have to stop traveling though, and we'd love to run some events back here as well as back in Australia, and kind of more along the lines of training camps. Again, fostering more community within the big community, kind of bringing people together, and not just for competitions, but for awesome training, but also great conversations, and kind of bringing in some of the other lifestyle practices that we personally find really beneficial, like the yoga and meditation. So I think more of an events-based kind of cycle is what we're going to be looking at as well.
Yeah, please, guys, come more, because it was so good to have you guys here. You guys brought so much good energy. For me personally, for so many reasons, but for the whole team as well. Tonight we're gonna have another seminar. Just trying to make the most, of the experience. That has been super, super cool. So I'm looking forward to, of course, have you guys back home again. So Anna, there are any question you would like me to ask you and I didn't ask you? Which question?
No, I feel like you've covered it pretty well.
There anything you'd like to...
Anything I'd like to add?
Yes.
Turns out you don't get magically better when you get your black belt. Just for those who are thinking that happens, I had this kind of dream in my head where I'd be like instantly 10% stronger, instantly like just 10% have better technique, faster. Didn't happen, rolled, got my guard passed instantly. But, but just, just the beautiful journey, it's like, just so grateful to be on this journey and to have made it to this point in it, and that this...
What achievement.
Thanks. And it's awesome because it also just leads into the next day, and the next day is another training day, so... That's a lie. Actually, I rested. I went to the aquatic centre with my nieces, but today is a training day.
But because it was Sunday.
It was,
It was Sunday.
Hey, day of rest, right? So there's no magic, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. It's just the beautiful thing is just keep turning up, eh? Keep turning up. And I turned up today, and podcasting was pretty much more terrifying to me than actually going for an exam. But thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you.
So nice to share this time with you.
It's kind of, you know that so well, how much we are proud of you, to see the evolution. Again, it's so hard. I think lots of people, they don't have idea how hard it is to become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. It's over 10 years of commitment, with the ups and downs, of course, but, it's the commitment of 10 years. It's so hard, to see someone to have the habit, to build this habit, and
Yeah.
to have the discipline to going through all those things.
Yeah.
And again, especially, for a female going to an environment when it's very intimidating. It's
Yeah,
intimidating
it
for
is.
most of guys. How many guys,
Yeah.
tell me, I'd like to train jiu-jitsu, but I'm, it's intimidated, coming for the first
Yeah.
place,
Oh man, still
first time,
intimidating sometimes. When I walk into a new space, you don't know what's going to come at you,
Yeah.
right? But then that's the control again, controlling the unknown. So the more that you can feel comfortable in yourself, the more that you can bring that onto the mat as well.
But those feelings, remember, when you came and I invite you for a row and you said, I was a little bit nervous, but disappear in the first 2 seconds,
Totally.
right?
Yeah,
But
100%.
That's what's happened. Also,
Yeah.
we kind of get caught up in our own thoughts.
Yeah.
And when we start moving, where's
Man,
that? It just
100%.
disappeared.
We just totally get caught up in the story that we tell ourselves
Yeah.
before we actually have the information about what's really going on. So, yeah.
Oh, and thank you for being you. Thank you for being part of our team. We are so proud of you, and that's just the beginning. Again, the black goes back to white.
Yeah.
And this, the cycle never ends.
Yeah.
Never ends. So super cool. We are really proud of you, and
Thanks, Vanderson.
thank you for sharing the mats with us. That's super cool, super important as well to have, someone like yourself achieving that, and it's an inspiration for lots of others. So let's keep training, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.